All right, let's get right into it. If you're a developer and you're in the Claude Code CLI pretty much every day, this one's for you. We're going to walk through a tool called Evolving Lite, and it's designed to completely change the way you work with that CLI. You know this feeling, right? It's like Groundhog Day, but for your command line. Every single morning, you fire up a new session, and you're painstakingly reminding it about the file structure, the weird library you're using, all the context you just gave it yesterday. And that right there is the fundamental issue. Claude Code, for all its power, is completely stateless. Every session is its own little island. It has no memory of past mistakes, no sense of your project's history, and absolutely zero continuity. And that is exactly what Evolving Lite is here to fix. It's a free, open-source plugin built to solve this one huge problem. It's designed to give Claude Code a memory, to give it that continuity, and to let it actually get smarter as you use it. Now, this is a really key point. Don't just think of this as a glorified chat history. It's not. Evolving Lite is a whole system, and it runs on 4 automatic interlocking feedback loops that are constantly working in the background to make the tools smarter. Okay, so let's pop the hood and see how this thing actually works. It all comes down to these 4 feedback loops. They're the engine that drives the whole system. So here they are, high level. First, you've got learn, which, you guessed it, learns from your corrections. Then there's context, which saves important stuff from your conversations. Heal is fascinating. It actually monitors itself for problems after updates. And finally, evolve keeps everything fast and lean by cleaning up old, irrelevant data. Let me give you a super common example of that learn loop. So you're working on a TypeScript project. Claude suggests a fix, but it's wrong. You type back something simple, maybe a little frustrated, like, no, check tsconfig first. So the system silently notes that. You completely forget about it, move on with your life. A week later, you're on a totally separate project, and a similar kind of error pops up. And boom, this is where the magic happens. Before you can even say anything, Claude applies that lesson you taught it a week ago. It says, hey, I see this type error, I'm gonna check the tsconfig before I do anything else. That's the learn loop, and it happened with zero effort from you. The other 3 loops, they're just as automatic. The context loop prevents important info from getting pushed out of the context window. Heal makes sure nothing breaks when you update your tools. Evolve is like a little Roomba for your data. And the most important column here is the one on the right. What do you have to do? Absolutely nothing. Okay, I know what some of you are thinking. A bunch of automated scripts running on my machine, I'm not so sure about that. And that is a totally fair concern for any developer. That's why the system is built to earn your trust over time using something called progressive activation. It doesn't just go full throttle from the get-go. For your first few sessions, it's just in Tier 1. That's a basic safety net. It just does health checks and blocks obviously dangerous commands. After a few sessions, once it proves it's safe, it unlocks Tier 2, the learning layer. Only after about 10 sessions does it turn on the really powerful Tier 3 stuff, like proactive memory. It earns the right to get smarter. And this gets to the core philosophy of how this tool is designed. The idea is to have all this powerful automation running quietly in the background while still giving you full manual control whenever you want it. So think of it like this. On the left, you've got all that automatic magic. The 4 loops just doing their thing, you don't have to touch it. But on the right, you have a whole toolbox of commands for when you want to take the wheel. You can kick off a debug session, plan a new feature, or explicitly tell it to remember something important. You never have to use them, but they're there if you need them. And just to give you a sense of the scale here, on the optional side, there are 15 different slash commands at your disposal for that direct control. While all that background automation is powered by 10 different hook scripts that tie right into Claude Code's lifecycle. And to make sure it's useful from the absolute first minute, it comes preloaded with 20 of these pre-warmed experiences. These are basically lessons learned from real-world workflows, so it already has a head start. Okay, let's talk about the big one, security. This is non-negotiable. Every piece of data, every memory, every lesson, it all stays on your local machine, period. There is zero telemetry. The system makes no outside network calls. It's all stored in human-readable files right on your desk so you can see exactly what it's learning. It's also worth knowing that Evolving Lite is designed as the bedrock of a bigger ecosystem. You can build on top of it with other free tools if you want, like Chiron for advanced semantic search of your memories. But Evolving Lite is that essential, foundational piece. Which brings us to the final and maybe the most important question. Why is this thing completely free and open source? What's the catch? This quote from the project's creators really says it all. The core belief here is that a tool like this gets its real value from a whole community of people using it and teaching it. That collective intelligence is way more valuable than a monthly subscription fee. And they really mean it. The whole thing is MIT licensed. There are no hidden costs, no crippled freemium version, and no pro plan waiting to be announced. The philosophy is simple. The value it brings to the community is more important than a price tag.
So what does all this feel like after you've been using it for a while? Well, after about a month, once it's really had time to learn your patterns, it stops feeling like a command line tool. It really does start to feel more like a colleague, one who has a perfect memory of your entire project.
So I'll just leave you with this thought. We're all used to our tools being static. We learn their quirks, we adapt to them. But what if that was flipped? What if your most important tool could actually adapt, learn, and evolve right there with you?